Hey y'all, welcome to Art of the Budget. My name's Nicole. My pronouns are she and her, and I live in the Pacific Northwest on what is the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish nations. Today I'm sharing with you a budget or reconciliation for April 2020. Is it still April? It is. Are there still a couple days left in April? There are, but I just needed the month to be over. So we're going to reconcile. Before we get started, I just want to say, hey, I hope everyone is doing well. I know we're all in such different, disparate circumstances right now. And as always, if you're a frontline worker, like many of my siblings, just giant shout out to you and thank you for keeping things going. And we're going to get into this budget reconciliation. So, of course, I'm going to start with the highlights, the good, the bad, the ugly. I had planned to bring in $3,500 and I brought in $6,560 over that. So, I mean, that's a good head start. Also, I received my stimulus check and a little like $15 market research thing. And so I brought in $1,215 extra. I'm really thankful that I was able to receive my stimulus check with no problem. Going on down to highlights, it was just a little over my 2% for art, not a big deal. I did that $250 into my emergency fund that would normally go into my Roth IRA. And, you know, when we see the other side of this, may still go into my Roth IRA, but I am just banking that emergency fund. Let's see, rent, I had planned on, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to pay $800, but I had planned on it, and thankfully my housemate was able to get unemployment and so was able to pay her rent in full. So $550 for rent, so I saved a little bit of money there. Scrolling on down, I thought I would have been a lot more over, but I actually came in at $460.24 for groceries, and I was under. Did you guys hear that? Under in restaurants. So I had planned for the usual 100 and I spent 43.62. I feel like I must have missed something, but I don't think I did. But it feels like I must have, right? And then just a reminder, groceries, I had planned on 400 because I needed to pay 195 toward my vegetable CSA or community supported agriculture, which is where you pay upfront for a farm share and then you collect it during the season. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at my groceries. I had planned on a bit more for the cats. In fact, I had planned on $258.84, but I ended up not getting something, and so I only spent $126. So I did save a little bit there, but it was flea medicine. So they had, you know, their 1 month dose, but I will need to get more flea medicine before the end of the month in May. Gas, I had only planned 60 and I actually only spent 23.19. Of course, I'm not really going anywhere, and most places I am walking when I go. So that was a good save. One area that I was over quite a bit was the fun area, and I had planned to spend $100, but I hadn't planned on my garden, or I hadn't budgeted for my garden. So that was kind of a silly mistake, but I think I had mentioned this. I wasn't really planning to have a garden, but then with all of the plans changing because of the virus, I decided I should go ahead and have a garden. So I ended up spending $237, so $137 over. My auto insurance was down this month. I did call and adjust for the lower amount of mileage I'd be driving with no commuting, and so it was $80.44 instead of $98. And that's that. Of course, student loan is suspended, so that $303 is going to go somewhere else. And when all that is said and done, I have $1,544 to budget. Okay, so let's go ahead and allocate that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I had actually planned on $300 to car upkeep / replacement and $253 towards my down payment. Now, I've mentioned this before, but just so you know, in case you're new here, I am going to continue allotting money to my goals, but any money that's going into this car upkeep / replacement or down payment. It is also, for me, I'm considering it an extension of my emergency fund if I were to need those funds, if I were to experience job loss during this pandemic, then that's of course what that would go toward. But just for my mental health, I'm just continuing to work towards my goals, just knowing that that money's not going anywhere anytime soon. All right, so I'm going to go actually ahead and zero this out and just look at the whole number we're working with. So I have over $2,000 to allocate. So I actually need to add an item here. Actually, I'm going to add an item up in my radical intersectional feminism. And this is my stimulus sharing. And I've made the decision to share $500 of my stimulus check. So I'm going to really quick make that a fund. And this is going to allow me to spend it as I want to. All right. Stimulus saving, wait. How do you make it a fund? Savings goal, I'm just gonna write 500. There we go. And then I'm going to save. So stimulus sharing is $500. And in the month of May, I will be telling you how I decide to share that. Okay, so now I have $1,597.86 left to allocate. And I've got about the same amount of money in my car replacement and my down payment. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to split this. So let's see, 750 and 7, oops. Let's do 800 and 847, 797.86 to down payment. So now I've got just over $2,000 in each of those accounts, which is like so incredible. Like I really thought when I first started at the beginning of the year, like I'm never rationally knew that I could save a certain amount of money into these accounts, but it's just so cool when you see it actually like adding up. Okay, so that is that for my April reconciliation. It's an every dollar budget now. I will be back soon with my May budget plan. Let me know down below how your April went down, and I will see you in the next video.